All right, welcome back to the Shooby Build. This is part 3, and I think this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the last one that we do before we get a final boot of the system, which is very exciting. This is the progress we've made so far. Doesn't it look amazing? And we're not even done yet, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there by the end of this video, guys. I can feel it in my bones. So we do have a couple things to go over here. So this is what's on the agenda today. We've got the rails. We've got the extra set of rails that we were missing for the radiator and the pump res. You can see that we've got one rail here. There's another one on the other side, but this one's just kind of floating. We don't have a rail yet here. So we've got the rails in there so we can securely mount the pump res to the front radiator. We've also got a fresh new GPU backplate from V1Tech. This was the original one. This is the original one we were gonna use, but then I later discovered that it wasn't gonna fit because of the IO shroud. The rear IO shroud on the motherboard was interfering with the back left corner of the backplate. The other issue is that since we had the logo positioned right in the center, it was gonna be covered up almost completely by the DIMM.2 module that we need installed in the motherboard. So the awesome dudes at V1Tech, particularly Hassan, who's a super cool guy, did this. He made this, which has the cutout for the IO shroud, but also we decided to change the pattern to something more abstract, so that way there's no, specific logo that risks being covered up by that DIMM.2 module. And I absolutely love this design. Hassan showed me a bunch of them. This is the one that I picked out. It's blue and red, which is perfect for Shooby. They're his favorite colors. And to top things off, V1Tech also sent an additional backplate for the DIMM.2 module. Look at that, it's so cute. And it's RGB backlit still. It's gonna go right on top right there. Boom. Oh, it's gonna look so good, guys. V1Tech, link in the description below in case you're interested. Awesome guys, great work as well. Let's take a look at what else we got here. This is just a simple fan hub. On one end, we have a single 4-pin PWM connector, and that terminates to 5 4-pin PWM fan headers, which is perfect because we have 5 fans in our system. 2 at the front for that radiator, 2 at the top for that radiator, and then 1 at the back. That's gonna be perfect. I think it's just gonna clean up cable management as well because we only have 2 fan headers on this board, which kind of surprised me for a mini DTX board that there was only 2 on here, and they're right there below the CPU water block. Kind of an awkward spot if you ask me, but yeah, this should definitely help. On top of that, we've got some fan extensions from Noctua that we may or may not use. These are part of the Chromax series, so they're all black and they look all sexy and stuff. Just some simple 4-pin PWM fan extensions. On top of having a number of fans in the case, we also have a number of RGB devices. I think we have, let's see, there's 1 here for the water block CPU and GPU block, and then we now have 2 RGB elements with both backplates. So that's 4 total. Now we do have RGB fans as well, but these are the Corsair LL series RGB fans that are already directly connected to the Corsair Lighting Node Pro. So we don't have to worry about those, but the other 4 devices are all digital or all addressable RGB devices that need to get hooked up. We only have 2 addressable RGB headers on the motherboard. In fact, one of those is actually directly mounted or directly connected to the DIMM.2 module. So instead, we're just gonna be using one of those headers, one of those accessible headers, along with this RGB splitter. It's an addressable RGB splitter cable. It's 1 to 4, so it terminates to 4 individual connections to power our 4 devices. Once all of that's taken care of today, we're gonna be filling the loop with this stuff. This is Thermaltake's experimental prototypal, some new Thermaltake coolant they haven't released yet, but it's got the swirlies, it's got the swirly swirl shampoo effect, but we're gonna be dyeing this as well. This is a dyeing kit also from Thermaltake. I'm gonna be trying to color match the blue that's found in the cable sleeving, which is also the blue that matches the elements in the backplate. So it's gonna look really cool once it's all matched up. And then the very last thing that I'm gonna try to get around to today, which may or may not be a disaster, is working with this side panel here. This is the side panel that I sent over to the very talented Lee from PC Junkie Mods, who does fantastic work. He's done PC builds for Deadmau5 for crying out loud. So I sent this side panel to him so he could make a larger cutout than the stock cutout, remove the acrylic window that the system ships with, and replace it with this tempered glass piece that I purchased and sent to him separately. It looks fantastic. He did an amazing job, but yet again, I have dropped the ball and completely up. So this is what I did, guys, and I feel really stupid about it because I'm stupid, and this is what happened. So I didn't account for this piece of case right here and how that could potentially interfere with any glass slab that was put in here after the fact. So he did a perfect job laying the glass here, and he evenly spaced it. It's evenly centered with, a couple millimeters of clearance on each of the sides, but unfortunately the glass panel is shifted too far to the left, which interferes with this part of the case. So here's what's going on, guys. Fits in on that side, but then when you go to close it, it's not even sitting completely flush because the glass is interfering with this because I didn't think about it first before I told Lee to do it, and I suck. I'm just a bad PC builder. And this is gonna be a challenge because Lee used some like automotive grade sealant that's used for gaskets in automobiles in order to seal this glass to the side panel. So the only way that I could see removing it in a practical fashion is by applying heat, using a heat gun or something like that, to this side of the side panel, so that maybe I can loosen said adhesive and then remove the glass and then reposition it to make room and clearance for that part of the case frame. I don't know if it's gonna work. I could completely botch this whole thing, but I'm gonna sure as hell try because this side panel is pretty useless in its current condition, and I feel bad. Feels bad, man. That said, Lee did a fantastic job with the instructions that I gave him, so if you guys want to check him out, I'll put his link in the description below. All right, so that's what we're doing today, guys. Very excited, home stretch. We're gonna finally finish this build off. It's gonna be super sweet. Again, links to everything that you see here can be found down below. Without further ado, I'm gonna start working on this build, and I'm not gonna stop until we've got a boot. Let's do it.
This video is brought to you by the Asrock Z490 PG Velocita. Supporting 10th gen and future generation Intel Core processors, this attractive ATX motherboard features a 13-phase power design with dual 8-pin connectors and active cooling for enhanced overclocking. Enjoy ample connectivity for the latest storage devices, a robust I/O featuring Intel 2.5 gigabit LAN, customizable RGB lighting, and more. To learn more about the Asrock Z490 PG Velocita, click on the link below.
Okay, the Shooby build is finally complete, and it looks amazing, and I'm not going to show it to you just yet because I want to reveal it to you guys at the same time that I reveal it to Shooby. That way you can all share that experience together. But it's good. It's worth the wait, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm going to fix this side panel, or I'm going to try at least. Like I said, I might fail miserably, probably a higher chance of that than anything else, but I'm going to try, damn it. I got my heat gun that I'm going to blast this side of the panel with to hopefully loosen up the adhesive material to the point where I can just sort of press down on the glass and it'll separate. Maybe I'll use a razor. I'll bust out a razor at some point to help scrape it off once it gets warm. I've also borrowed my wife's oven mitts so I don't get burned when handling the side panel. Very useful. Okay, I have no clue how this is going to turn out. Let's just go for it. Wish me luck. Okay, you know what? This isn't working, so it's time for plan B. All right, well, that didn't work either. I could not smash the glass, and I can't, I suck. I suck at breaking things, particularly when they're things I'm trying to break. I'm great at breaking things I'm not supposed to break. Why does that happen? But you know, with tempered glass, trying to hit it with a blunt object head on is generally not very effective. They typically recommend smashing the corner, one of the corners of the glass, and that usually does the trick. But the way that this is recessed into the side panel, it's just really hard to hit these dead on to make good contact with them because it's, you know, adhered to the side panel and stuff. So I was thinking about scrapping the whole thing and just saying, screw it, we'll just give Shooby the acrylic panel, he'll be fine with it, but we've already spent too much time and too much effort to have gotten to this point to throw it all away now. So what I did was I did some more research online. I found another glass company, and I found the same piece of glass, same measurements and stuff, for a fraction of the price, like less than half the cost. So I pulled the trigger on it. It's going to Lee's place. I'm shipping this panel back to Lee so that he can break it up himself and take care of it and do all the amazing things that Lee does, and hopefully this time around we'll get it right. I've learned a very, very important important lesson the hard way from all this, which is if you're gonna do a side panel mod, make sure that the glass piece that you're setting in won't cause any clearance issues with the rest of your case. God, if I knew that ahead of time, this would be much less of a headache. But there it is, guys. So we'll have to wait on this. At the very least, we can give Shooby the system in full with the acrylic side panel while we wait for Lee to fix this mess. So that way he'll be able to break it in and start gaming on it in the meantime, which it's time for the reveal. Now, because of social distancing, it's just a little too complicated to try to unveil this PC to him in person, like in a studio environment. So instead, I'm gonna show him his PC for the first time during a video chat. I've actually cut together a pretty sweet montage of the finished build, so I'm gonna send him a link to that video while we're on the call, and we'll get to see his reaction that way. So should be pretty cool. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Dude, this is, I'm like so antsy right now because I've just been waiting to show you this thing for so long.
I'm so stoked.
And you know, it's like, with these sorts of builds, you don't really ever know, even the person building them doesn't really know exactly how they're gonna look until it's finally done. So this has just been like a build up for me too. Like I revealed the system to myself. When I finally first turned it on and all the lights came on, I was like, yes, this is amazing. Now a couple things before we actually show off the build. So for the coolant that we used, it's really, forgive the pun, very cool. It's very cool, like badass looking fluid, but it's also sort of like a prototype from this company that they haven't fully released it yet. So I still don't know what kind of behavior we're gonna see with it, how it's gonna interact with your loop. What I wanna do is maybe within 2 or 3 months down the line, I'll take a look at your system, you'll hand it back to me, and just so I can inspect it to make sure that it's not doing any damage to your loop. If it looks all good, then you know, maybe I'll do a quick cleaning and we'll just keep it going. But if it looks like there's some signs of wear and tear or clogging, then we may want to swap it out for distilled water, which still looks really nice in a loop. It's just the most safe and effective way to cool a loop system. And then the other thing was there was one technical difficulty with the side panel mod that I told you about, but for the record, it's gonna get fixed. We're gonna fix it, and you will have the glass mod side panel eventually. So in the meantime, you can still use your system in full with the acrylic side panel, but the actual glass panel will have to wait just a little bit longer.
For sure.
Just FYI.
Hey man, this is perfect to me. Side panel, no panel. This is amazing. Thank you, brother. I'm stoked.
I'm actually gonna send you a link right now. I'm gonna pull up the same video on my screen so that we can click play on the count of 3 and sort of watch it together.
Okay, I got the link ready.
All right, on the count of 3, let's do it. Click play on the count of 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit, bro, these lights. Damn, dude, this looks like Tron, and I love it. Oh, the blue and red look sick. Damn, dude, it looks like Jupiter or Saturn, the gases. I love that.
That's a good description.
Dude, this thing looks like a modern badass. Holy shit, dude. I walk around with this like on my shoulder.
Yeah, just like just boombox it around the airport, anywhere you go.
I'm at a park. I'd be the coolest kid like in the world. Dude, this looks it looks like a living organism. It looks so beautiful, man. Thank you so much. This is like 50 million times the sickest thing I've ever seen. You killed it. Like, you killed it. Straight murder. Dude, I just want to stare at it for a couple hours also. It's so beautiful. Dude, it's just beautiful. Dude, you're a Picasso. You're a modern day Picasso. This is beautiful, man.
So I have to ask, what game are you gonna play first on this thing?
Dude, so actually between the time we, filmed the part 1 and, did this, Warzone, for sure. Warzone, Fortnite. I think those two, because I love the multiplayer component, and I think those would be really fun to just start playing away and killing it.
Nice,
that was so fun.
Nice. Out of curiosity, do you game with anyone, like any of the cast members from the circle?
Dude, that's a good question, actually. I don't know if anyone is a gamer. I know some of them recently got a console, but I don't know if anyone is a gamer. I would guess Antonio might play games. I know Joey recently got a system, but I don't know if he's multiplayer ready yet.
Yeah, you gotta train him, man. You gotta train him. Maybe once they see your new build, they'll have some inspiration, right?
Dude, anyone who sees this, they're gonna be shitting it. This looks so sick.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing. You don't have to answer now, but you should be thinking of a name for your PC, for your new PC. You have to name it something cool, something meaningful, something badass. Whatever you want it to be, you gotta name it. It's
yeah, you're so right.
It's how you bond with your system.
Dude, What about, oh my god, I just thought about this. Our connection comes from the circle, right?
Yeah.
But it's a square. What if I call it the square? 'Cause it's like square.
Dude, you name it whatever you want. I will wholeheartedly accept that option, though.
Thank you. Kyle, brother, dude, thank you again, man. This was incredible. This really was.
Of course, dude. Like I said, I couldn't be more honored to have brought you this experience and to do this for you. Just thank you for being a part of it, and we'll have to link up soon, play some games.
Dude, we will for sure, dude. 100%.
Have a good one and stay safe out there.
You too, brother.
Later.
All right, I think it's safe to say that Shooby likes his build, and we've already hashed out all the details on how we're actually going to get this over to him despite the quarantine and all that. In other news, I thought you guys might want to hear some more details on this build. For starters, the blue that I got to match here, the actual coolant, you can see that I matched it almost perfectly with the other blue accents in the system, and it wasn't just blue dye. I had to add a couple drops of red as well. This is all from the Thermaltake dye kit. Just the standard blue drops were too light. It was almost like a warm blue, so it looked kind of like baby bluish, which is obviously not. I mean, you can see some baby blue accents maybe in the back plate because it's kind of varied, different shades of blue, but I wanted something a bit more just traditional blue, so I had to add a couple drops of red, just a few, in order to darken it up and really match the blue like you see in the sleeving. So I think it's pretty dead on right there. Like I said, I'll be keeping an eye on this fluid for Shooby to make sure that it's not gonna mess up his loop, and at the first sign of any sort of clogging, we are gonna swap it out with distilled water. I thought you guys might also like to see a bit of performance numbers here, so while I didn't run any actual benchmarks in terms of frame rates and stuff, because the GTX 1080 Ti has been around for quite some time, and you could probably look up benchmarks with that. And you know, the 3950X CPU is not going to be holding it back any, especially if Shooby's gaming at 2560 by 1440. So high-end system, perfectly capable to game at that resolution, well above 60 FPS. But I did run some thermal tests. So I've actually been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider for about 30 minutes now with the side panel on. I just removed it for the video here, but the side panel was on, and I've been gaming for about 30 minutes in here, 2560 by 1440, max settings, max anti-aliasing, DirectX 12, and our temperatures are actually looking pretty good. So we hit a maximum on our 3950X of 75.9, basically 76C. This is our peak value here that it spiked up to, but for the most part, when I was gaming, the average seemed to be anywhere in the 60s. It just peaked at 76C for a quick second there. And our GPU is looking fantastic. Our 1080 Ti is not topping 50 degrees C. This is after half an hour of gaming, and I was moving around and stuff. I wasn't just staring at this single scene. That makes me so happy that I was able to squeeze in the second fan in part 2, whereas previously I was just gonna have this one radiator fan to make more clearance for the reservoir, but we get to have our cake and eat it too. 2 fans and a pretty sizable reservoir for a case this size. Also, I'm really glad that I went with these slim Noctua fans. Let me just pop this off really quick. Oh yeah, fan dust filter first. There we go. I'm really happy that I chose to go with these slim fans from Noctua. The fact that they are only about 15 millimeters thick as opposed to 25 on a standard fan, it does give us a lot more clearance between the fan blades and the front panel. I should actually put this back on so you can kind of see how much extra room we have. You can just see straight through it to the other side. There's a nice little gap there that otherwise would be virtually non-existent had we gone with standard sized fans. So that was a great option. The other nice thing is that the system's staying really cool, but quiet as well. You can kind of just hear, I'll put my lavalier mic up close to the system. I mean, you can just barely hear a faint hum, and this is with the side panel open. You can hear a little bit of the pump, but it's actually pretty quiet. Nice high quality D5 pump from Singularity. It's just a really quiet system. I gotta reiterate how happy I am with how everything turned out, because all throughout this build, it seemed like there was gonna be all these compromises we'd have to make. Like removing the NVMe drive so that we could see the Shooby logo that was on the old style backplate, or not having one of these fans on here, which would definitely compromise on our cooling, maybe having a shorter reservoir, all these things that could have potentially shorthanded the build, we were able to get past and found solutions and workarounds to make everything happen. But that is the Shooby build, guys. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Toss a like on this video if you enjoyed it. It helps a lot. Get subscribed to the channel for more tech content on the way, and I will see you guys in the next video. Yeah, you're not gonna see my face in this video because the quarantine hair is out of control. Okay, see you guys later.